Giving Hollywood a piece of me. I'm holding my head high, act like the world's mine. I didn't come for nothing, and all I know is I can't let them see. I got no idea what I'm doing. Take it all till I make it all the way. I've been winning, I've been losing, but you're never gonna read my poker face. Take it all till I make it. Take it all till I make it. No idea what I'm doing. Take it all till I make it all the way.
Times. That's what I'm doing. Can't remember what the static init thing is. It means that some part of the type system's not set up right, obviously. That's in the macro though.
Paralyze my heart. Don't wanna feel your touch like ice tracing on my scars. Why is it hurt on the inside? It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you, you break me, but something about it makes us so, baby. Every piece keeps us together in the car.
So most of the stack initializers show up in there. I don't know why this one's not compiling, so we'll see if it's in there. So there's the interface.
Maybe we can make this world a better place, and the tragedies and set our spirits free. Together we can bring back home the ones who've lost, and give them love, and give them love. They can try to bring us down, but we know we're much too proud to lose faith. We have what it takes. 'Cause we are a new generation. We are a new generation. We are a new generation. A new generation.
So I'm missing something that I know is there normally. Let's look at the main project.
You wish to be. Don't let
It's my casting.
anybody tell you differently. Because in this world there are no limitations. We can make
I was wondering if you couldn't find it by explicit name, and that's why. Let's get one more name. The visible instructor, so So it's probably this. So we won't have a singleton, right? So that you don't instantiate more than one engine, but it likely is trying to init. So static initialization happens before the DLL entry point, kind of a DLL. So all of our subdependencies, if you look here, the engine is the main DLL for our game engine. The executable is when we want to actually have a main function. And then we have all of these different things, like this is all the code to run the interpreter for the console, and this is the type system that Mason wrote, and these are sort of Python style like Python style path functions, things like that. So when they get pulled in by the engine or one of these test cases, all of the static initialization code gets run first, and for some reason we don't have an implementation of that. And I see this error come up, and normally it's due to my lack of total understanding what's going on, so engine-based graph static init. I wonder if this is so it's something to do with the type system not matching up, right? I was having this problem before where does the macro live? Yeah. It's weird. So we have our own runtime type interface for this, and this is supposed to come up beforehand, as I said, and it didn't seem to be coming. But most of the time, you can't trust IntelliSense when it's in macros, because it kind of sucks on the goals. So we'll see. But let's look at another type, which is frustrating. Let's look at another type in the UI system. Of div. Export a constructor. Declare macro on the front. Could be something wrong with the aspect. Once that's engine, set class is publicly from object. Declare macro up front. I'm gonna try to put that not work well. Let's see. Our IntelliSense file is very large. This one is 74 megs for the main project, so sometimes it starts to lag when it goes to do a lookup, which is kind of a pain. But I mean, it's better than it would be if I was using Atom and playing autocomplete, because that just has to open a new process every time, and you can't keep up with how fast I can type, which is not very fast. Subsystem input systems. I type declare. That's probably why subsystem based doesn't have a static initializer. Keep the singleton. Stop printing. Not sure why that triggered a rebuild of craft type. It's not great. Make sure it's actually compiling its tests. Good times there. Type system is fine. So, when we want to pull another project into this engine, I set up this submodule of vendor dependencies, which has submodules, and when I went to build them, I dropped the debug files on a lot of kind of useful things, so they throw a fit when you compile. I think we got told it to not tell us that error in the other one. Subsystem base got compiled. So like other stuff from subsystem base is exported, so engine base there, right? It's just that the type init didn't get called. The static initializer for the interface gets called, so which would be four aspects, right? Craftengine define, engine base. I have this craft object defined, right? So like the default components, CS component defined, craft type defined. So instances are a shared pointer wrapper. So types are things that can be coerced into instances, and objects are things which can expose certain things about their type system. Certain information about the class itself dynamically at runtime. So like here, there's two fields which can be queried through the type system. What's the current executable, what's the current scene that's running, and you can invoke methods, right? We have these load scene methods, tell me the current working directory. Which are frustrating because they shouldn't really be on the engine, they should be somewhere else this top level, but this was the sort of the point to prove that we had a type system. Now, it is biting me because I didn't want to have to implement this. I want to just be able to pull over the interface for engines into the craft core project and then pull it out later, but we can't all get what we want. So. Normally you could debug these static initializers and just engine base aside. I wonder if it's an include order problem. Features container would be an example of something which we could see as well. This features container static initializer in here. The structure is exported. This is very frustrating. Yeah. I should say well, because I never actually fixed everything. Good times. Okay, so
I do know what is best for you.
did I do that in the other projects? Something really stupid happens with CMake. So we use CMake to develop these things, right? Where depths see, it's building all of these subprojects in subfolders, and it's marshalling the .lib files in, but it's not marshalling the DLLs in. So in the main project, I actually have to drag them out, which is a pain, but whatever. It's because you need to export them. I thought we fixed that macro. The problem might be that normally when I'm doing this, it's either you're in the type system or you're in the main project, so the types don't actually ever get exposed outside of there, but let's see. Here's the interpreter, which is not... Okay, so I never actually exported any types. One of the reasons we were putting off doing all this work was... let me show you an example. In that craft core, right? When you include this header, either you're saying that I'm importing a function that you need to find in the DLL at runtime, or I'm exporting a function that I expect to be in the DLL at the runtime, right? In order to... You see these exported macros in the front of everything. Right here, if you're in the DLL itself, you want to say that declspec DL export, right? Notice how in POSIX, it's just, I want to be able to see that. On Windows, it's a little more complicated. One of the reasons we were putting off fixing this, dragging these things out of other projects, was that originally we only had one export macro. So either you were in the main DLL or you were in the main executable. When we went to split these things off into sub-projects, it got a little bit more complicated. But let's build the executable. Tell me what's missing. I'll wait for that. Telling Mason about it now, because it went wrong. Still building. There he is. not the console. Core, just trying to show him what this was. Engine base. Hey, so this is what I was saying. At Craft Object Declare, when I looked at it in the DLL inspector, it said static initializer method for engine base was missing. I think we'll see more of them here when it finishes compiling. I'm just saying that I didn't think you needed to do this. I don't know. I ended up going with this for now. Set the engine singleton, get the engine singleton. Everyone else calls Genjin, right? Hopefully you don't call this because it'll break everything right now. I'll let you come back around and fix that. So here's a bunch that are missing, right? Stack initializer for basic task container, because I didn't export it. That one's missing a bunch of times. Use the YouTube chat so I can see it on the screen. I turned off those notifications so they don't pop up. In case one of you says that you're dying, that would be bad. Hey. What the hell is going on in this menu? I see what you're saying. Okay, well, task container. Just been going down a rabbit hole. All I wanted to do was put the UI layer in another thing so that I could write some unit tests so that I could do dirty redrawing. Okay, it's one of them. So it was like, yeah, you need to pull out MMDS. Originally I was just going to say keep all of the loaders in the main project for now, but then I couldn't get MMDS out without moving the asset subsystem out. And then when I went to move the asset subsystem out, the subsystem base was not exported. Then so I was like, I guess I have to pull core out of the engine now. And here I've been for 4 hours. So we'll see. More I have left.
Anybody out there? Anyone read me?
But now everything can be its own small project. I can go look, but I don't think so. Yeah, no, I didn't, but I have it covered. I'm gonna go over to the bank at 4 and deal with it. That's not great. So, I don't know. Don was sick, right? Or had a death in the family and had to go out at the same time, so we'll be okay. Plus, we're gonna be raking in those sick ad impressions now. One person, did you watch an ad? Make 3 cents? 0.3 of a cent? Oh well. This takes a while to compile. I thought this would get better, but I don't know. We can move to Ninja if I pull down all of the code. So, I imagine you just forgot to send it, but we're covered. So many nodes are up. Is that how many computers we have? 4, 5, 6, 7. Are they all up? They might already up. I don't know. Gotta do something with it, I guess. Yeah. The dashboard's dead. 3 of the DNSs are dead. But other than that, I mean, you can get to all of the individual nodes right now. So if you had something to run on it. Fast build. Oh, I have to mod you, don't I? There you go. Now you can post a link. Look at that! 10 minutes less on building whatever. Yeah, I don't know. So you need to move this probably into the actual ECX folder. These default types, though maybe not. I don't know. You probably don't want to require people to use position in their entity component system in case they want to use something else. Is CMake to like one-time migrate, or is there a backend, a generator backend? Visual Studio to fast build. So, is there like an external build system plugin for fast build?
Connected. Channel switched.
Okay, so then that's fine. I mean, that's how what's it called works? Like Ninja? I don't know if it goes faster than Ninja, but whatever.
Microphone muted.
I'm here if you need me. With voices. So you can't, I have this funny thing. So when I went to put some information on there, right, I tried to use the sticky notes, and the sticky notes are GPU accelerated, so you can't pull them out with GDI Blit. I thought that was funny. But whatever.
User joined your channel. Microphone
Hey.
activated.
Hello.
Yeah. So. Should be the last one.
Features container add generic task.
Yeah, the ones I put in. So I moved these to engine, I was telling you. These are just the ones that I couldn't get all the way out for now. Or... Engine, features container, generic task. Then it's the virtual methods for oh, so I left all of these methods that were being implemented on the parent class. Will this offset work properly? Because XE is defined on the parent class. Well, I guess we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do need to change those over to member function, member
Yeah.
pointers
Member-
rather than
Yeah.
offsets.
Offsets. I made tasks features load current working directory part of the interface of Sengine. Which I guess begs the question, if the parent class says that it implements the interface and it's craft object defined, do I need to say that I use Sengine by casting here? This one's kind of dirty. I mean, the only thing that's... So there's only three things on here that matter anymore, right? Load, which needs to know about the asset system, so it can't be on the core thing. Which I just throw a runtime exception right now, I think. The literal spin up these systems. Which I think we have stuff in the type system now to do this generically, based off of
The
deserializing the...
subsystem spin up, yeah.
Yeah. And then the main function, which I think just... No, I left the main function on the parent, so it's really just load in this. Good times.
We haven't got unlimited time. Sun is out and you get to your prime. We're falling for love.
I mean, all of the lifecycle stuff that was on Engine, like control loop, main loop, we don't actually... These things, I mean, we use loop event, right? But other than that, we don't use those anymore.
And I want to get rid of loop event anyways.
Yeah, so the platform subsystem can be responsible for
Yeah.
waiting on kill. So.
Like that's another thing that's getting SDL out of the.
Well, yeah.
The main thing is the system event, but
The
that's
system,
just one
yeah.
of the things it's relying on. So.
Yeah, I don't know. If we had a, I mean, you don't want to make it like a value pointer, right? Because I mean, I'm sorry, a pointer, and then have everyone in their object files cast it back to an STL event. So we need to have our own version of what that structure is, and at that point, you're a few steps away from just being STL.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It was more of thinking that you would include the event header. The problem is that you need a pointer to the union. And we do use a pointer to the union. The problem is the size of the pointer to the union is part of the compiled code for accessing the pointer. Because it's a structure.
Engine base doesn't implement the whole life cycle right now, I guess. Or I didn't export them. Yeah. You do need to export virtual methods.
You should need to.
See, because it's got like a virtual name on it. That's why I don't understand. Engines.
Yeah, if you want some other person to be able to instantiate the object, it needs access to the virtual functions. Otherwise, it doesn't know what to put in its virtual table.
Okay, but I shouldn't export them on the interface because you wouldn't be exporting anything. That doesn't make sense. All right.
Yeah, you're exporting those implementations for other people to use.
Okay. So, how's your mother doing? Fine.
What?
I said, how's your mother doing? Like Mark Wahlberg would say.
Oh.
Did our party go well?
Yeah, she had a bunch of city councilors and county commissioners and other people come to the garden.
Nice. Anyone want any software?
Kind of. The city councilor that's running for the spot is kind of like a pro techie, but he's like he got like a free software foundation verified laptop, for example.
Okay.
And he's a lawyer.
It's like a power user.
He's not even a power user though. Like he doesn't. He's still having like he doesn't even use like a different window manager. But
what do you mean? Doesn't even have a non-default window manager. What a gatekeeping thing to say. I love it.
Well,
I know you're being.
It's
fine. It's just true.
Yeah, he doesn't use the command line. He just said, "Oh well, I want a computer that is free," and
Do you want a website?
I think he actually is more interested in like a Kubernetes cluster.
For what purpose?
For like when the city goes down, like when the internet goes down.
Do you need to have a certain number of? Do they have like? Do you just bid on their website for it? Or that's like a campaign platform?
I'll have to go check that out because well, right now his complaint is that they don't have in-house people for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They want to hire a bunch of people in-house, but if that doesn't pan out, yeah, maybe should check that out. Also, he's not elected yet.
Yeah. Oh. There you have it. I keep getting an email from the Google Compute sales team that wants to talk to us about something, but I don't know what they want to talk to about.
Unless they want to give us money.
Yeah, unless they want to give us money. He said, we want to talk about lowering your bill, and I was like, we have like 2 VMs. I don't know what you're talking about. I was gonna troll the shit out of him and ask him to sign something with my public key and post it to his Google Plus or whatever. Well, I should try to fix these all in a row.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the export macro goes in the headers and not in the code files.
Yeah. Can't see this.
Anyways, I should head to my dad's so that I
Alright.
can work.
Alright, later.
Okay, this is pretty cool though. We should make this more popular.
Wow. Good thinking.
Oh, do you want me to post it in places?
Sure. You can hear me over the music just fine on the stream.
Yeah, it's actually super confusing to talk to you in Vent and then hear you on the stream.
Because it's behind.
Yeah, because it's like a 20-second delay.
Living the dreams. Well, I had to buy a Monster Cat license. So I can get DMCA'd.
Oh,
It's only $10 a month though for YouTubers. Alright, see you
yeah,
nerd.
so that's what we need to do. Is we need to get procedure
Generated
generated
music,
so
so
we
we
can
don't have
license
to
it
pay
ourselves. I feel like the effort there is not just about it.
Yeah, apparently there's like a content ID whitelist system. Alright.
That's a bad kitty.
Welcome to Call of the Wild. An exploration of sound with the latest electronic music. With nothing to hold us back, these are the songs of the wild. Hey everyone, welcome
I mean, it would
back to Monster
be
Cat
99
Call of
cents
the
a
Wild. We hope you guys
post,
had an amazing week. We've got a good one, so let's just get this hour going.
alright.
Today we'll be hearing new stuff from Faint, Subtact, Slander, and World, and we also have heaps of Rocket League exclusives to share with you guys, like this tune coming in now, which will be on the Rocket League soundtrack July 5th. This is brand new Faint featuring Milk with Outbreak.
I probably just fucked this.
Slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak of wishing upon a star.
I don't want to listen to the call-outs.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Slander. Hey, guys. This is Slushy here. Hey, this is Steinbank, and we are Kuro.
You gonna play my slushy song I like?
Hey, everyone. Jester Pez from Northern California. Hey, guys. It's your boy Peter calling from Ottawa, Canada.
That's a bad kitty.
Welcome to Call of the Wild. An exploration of sound with the latest electronic music. With nothing to hold us back, these are the songs of the wild.
Creepy.
Into the night, city lights are dancing, slowly falling.
god. I don't think this is actually doing anything. Why then?
Open your eyes and see the people chanting, slowly falling apart. The silence causing an earthquake. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling higher, and I know I can.
It's got a button for that.
Shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the lights on.
I don't even know why that's still there. Alright.
Or it carry threats.
I think it's actually like a really Oh my god. Alright. Should move Math out of here.
get it together, IntelliSense. Generally, if you don't get a on hover, probably means it's fixed. On our GitHub, we have all these issues that people can come by to do if they're getting new to the engine, and one of them was to define the default coordinate system. I got bored and did it one day, and that was stupid because it's just causing me trouble now. Coordinate up, and then sudoku craft. It's a constructor for engines not exported. It's definitely gonna crash when I start it, but as soon as I get it to starting again, I'm gonna feel pretty happy.
In my mind, stuck in this coffin of mine. I gotta try to get out. You gotta help me 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 get out. Oh, you gotta help me get out. You gotta help me get out, 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 out.
my god. Let's try to make them const for like when you compile it. Should really just read more of the errors before I start over, don't you think?
Sick when I'm home. I find myself kicking the stones around. When silence gets loud, you gotta find a way out. You gotta help me get 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 out, out.
Spicy.
You gotta help me get out.
Problem solved.
You gotta help me get out. You gotta help me get out. You gotta help me get out. You gotta help me get out, 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 out. You gotta help me get out, out, out. You gotta help me get out. You gotta help me get out.
Bet you it's egg pulse. So what was that? Sorry. So I was telling you earlier, if you were one of the 0 people here, is that use Adam as the other editor because I'm using Notepad as the. Here's what I did. So because I was using sub-projects, it wasn't copying shared DLLs back as like a post-build event. So I made a post-build event called Force DLL Copy, right? To pull in the DLL at runtime, and then the executable is dependent on the DLL showing up. I guess, yeah. It's a target called Force DLL Copy that the executable is dependent on. Force DLL Copy copies the DLLs from the sub-projects after they're built into the DLL folder of Craftengine, so they're all on the same level. DLL loading is stupid, that's the point. So, we'll see. Uh-oh. I do want to stop debugging. Probably need to rebuild. Living the dream, thanks Mason. Only 9,999 more views to get pro'd for live streaming. Can't actually inspect any of these things. Wish I knew which type ID I was inspecting. Good T feature. Feature ID. Probably means my type declarations are wrong on Craftengine, or the engine file. So see if it was that one. Probably not. Probably borked this whole thing and I'm hosed. It's all template choo-choo. Just share it on your Facebook, Mason. Ooh. Nope. Oh. This type is borked. That's not what I meant to do. Should I turn my sensitivity up because I saw Faker had a much higher sensitivity than me. It was just a bad idea.
Rise like a sun.
just
Bright as the sky, and the promises beneath. Hold on to your own belief.
that's a good sign.
Next to me, I'll remind you of our love we could keep. In your darkest hours.
That's what I was actually worried about not working when I did this.
You and I'll discover we could overcome. Together as one.
Step out. One of the features is borked. Doesn't have an exe yet. Doesn't have a config yet. Doesn't have a context yet. No scenes yet. Does have loggers. I don't know why running starts is true. Probably need to fix that, but we might not even have to use that information anymore. This is like the first thing we wrote, obviously, right? And it only got passed over again when we made objects, made the type system. What feature am I getting? Must be, I mean, it's casting it to S engine. That's probably what's going wrong. I don't know what feature kind I was getting. And description. Format sets, integers for type. It's kind of borked. Let's see though. Pointer. What aspect are we trying to get out of it? Is there a readme? Of course there's not a readme, Mason. Hilarious. S feature. How long time to spend on the feature management on? Oh.
What's your problem?
How's it going? Why is there... What feature is it? So if this method is takes S-engine aspect. What feature is it trying to pull out? Because it's saying that there's no features on this object. If you look at the meta, and so by the time I get here, and I'm trying to pull the aspect out of it, and I try to get the feature ID of it. Feature ID is 0.
Oh, this is pre... I think this is pre-types. You need to initialize the types system. I think you're pre... I think you're calling into like a null type system.
Yeah, because I init the type system in init, which this was originally a static method, that's why. Living the dream. Did you already go to your dad's house?
No, he's picking me up around in an hour.
On a motorcycle?
No. He sold that. He was worried it would be too dangerous.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. That looks about right. Oh, so sorry, but it takes a little while to index all those icons now. Does any initialization happen in require?
Just the construction, I think, of the thing.
Okay, so it'll be on configured of the graphics subsystem. Which it doesn't use.
I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to like rewrite some parts of the init sequence.
Yeah. Push that later. Well, the easiest thing to do is come to... Stop that. Maybe it's on the init of SDL that it... Let's see. What I wanted to do was come here and make sure people are getting a real... This is engine base. Make sure that this one that people are returning is a real one. Clip on my mic to not do that again. So. Looks like it's configured properly. This is coming up right. There's no readme in the type system, but I mean, didn't matter.
Slowing up the speed of time. Don't let me crash down tonight. I just wanna feel what I feel, what I feel when it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees just to see if I can still bleed. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman. Hope it's not a grand delusion. So keep me in this state of mind. Tell me that it's real life. 'Cause with you I'm super.
Watch the SDLC system come up. See if there's something going wrong there. Maybe these aren't going to work the way I thought they would.
Together we can spark a flame and freeze the world to numb the pain. I just wanna feel what I feel, what I feel when it's just you and me. I'm falling on my knees just to see if I can still bleed. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman. Hope it's not a grand delusion. So keep me in this state of mind. Tell me that it's real life. 'Cause with you I'm superhuman, superhuman.
Well, it looks like you can't. The current system cast. Need to know the parent's metatype ID, so subclass isn't working correctly.
Tell you what I never ever said to her. But I can never love. No, I can never love. I can do the things she wants and things I think with her. But I can never love. No, I can never love. But she can find that someone, find that someone, find that someone. Someone just like you, just like you. But she can find that someone, find that someone, find that someone. Someone just like you, just like you. Someone just like you, just like you.
So Mason, doesn't look like we have subclassing set up correctly. So when you go to ask, what I was doing in all these things was coerce this to the type of engine base. And since it's of type engine, which is a subclass of engine base, it fails this. Where did I put it? Fails type coercion. This exception. So.
Sorry, I'm hearing you twice. Start from the beginning.
Alright, so
Microphone muted.
the problem is I go to coerce these types into the engine base type, and the way to test that is by testing what the type ID of the thing you're casting to is equivalent to the type ID of the meta object, right? But that type ID points at the subclass. Which is a problem, because it means that you can't coerce a subtype into its parent type.
Yeah. How were you trying to do subclassing?
The engine class subclasses from engine base.
Yeah, you don't want to register the subtype as a object. Or there is a macro for abstract base classes that you can use.
Then can I coerce it in the type system to its parent object? Will this still work?
But you have an aspect, as type engine base. Well, why is that not the interface? Why is it not S engine?
Because these get macros. We talked about this. We're templated, so they can't be on the interface because they can't be virtual. And I won't have.
You could put those get macros on the aspect itself. Yeah.
But then I wouldn't have.
Yeah, but they can be inline on the interface.
But I wouldn't have the map of subsystems. Do you want me to do something like put that in the interface of?
Oh yeah, that's gonna have to become virtual. Yes, exactly. That's what. Implement the generic non-templated get in the interface.
So this will work. It's just that this needs to be method. let's see. Well, not gonna be my problem to clean up. Don't mess with that. Stupid way of handling this.
gets thinner as we climb. We've only got one destination. Touch the clouds and gravity's edge, and the rest is our momentum. Does it matter if I can't breathe out there? I've got memories of where we began, and you unfollow my silhouette that grows bigger towards the sun. I can see your darkened eyes, and you are still hiding your smile. Take my dismay, throw it away. When you reach me, help find a way. Look out for slopes, down the devil's goes. And when you reach me, I'll let you stay. How many times do we have to write our names in the sand so they don't wash away? How many times do we leave a mark? I've been worried if you'll be okay. I can travel the world in an instant, even though there's a fear of the distance. But for you, I know I'll stay right here. And I can see your darkened eyes, and you are still hiding your smile. Take my dismay, throw it away. When you reach me, help find a way. Look out for slopes, down the devil's goes. And when you reach me, I'll let you stay.
Can't spell is the problem.
I don't want to miss you when you're sailing by. Please tell me you're on the way.
This
I don't want to
finally
miss
works.
you once I've waved goodbye. So when you reach me, tell me you'll stay.
Here I am again, floating through the silence in my cold skin. My body is wearing thin. My fears tell me I'll never win. My body is wearing thin. And there's darkness here. The whole world I fear. And my rumors seem to drown. But I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down. I won't let them take me down. Through the silence. I am again floating through the silence in my cold skin. My body is wearing thin. My fears tell me I'll never win. My body is wearing thin. And there's darkness here.
I think I copied this wrong. Yeah. Yeah, alright, that's what happened. We already have the type stop, otherwise, yeah, the other two.
Through the silence.
Don't copy and paste, you lose work.
Hey, what's up, guys? Slander. Hey, guys. This is Slushy here. Hey, this is Steinbank, and we are Kuro.
Phase 1 complete. Assembling family members.
Hey everyone, Jester Pez from Northern California.
Hey, guys. It's your boy Peter calling from Ottawa, Canada.
Family assembled. We have liftoff.
That's a bad kitty.
That should be it. It's really bad.
Attention, citizens. Please commence routine 1399. Proceed instantly to the center. Thank you.
Oh wait, look at this Mario Maker. Good times.
Separate them together. These perspectives in view. I am me, I am you. Justice, fear, and fire. Separate them together. These perspectives in view. I am me, I am you.
That's good. Like it's compiling faster or it's executing faster? Because you got it to be imperative now.
Oh. Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see.
Attention, citizens. Please commence routine 1399. Proceed instantly to the center. Thank you.
So they should still sig vault in the same spots. Uh-oh. Desync. Where do you even get a copy of Minesweeper now?
I am me, I am you. I am you. I am me, I am you.
I don't know what algebra effects are.
Every concept, every notion has a counterpart. Yet, every idea's opposite is just the absence of the idea itself. Absence is the absence of presence. Presence is the absence of absence. Any perceived difference is in fact also a deep connection. In this way, opposing forces are unified. The world becomes a collaborative web of interdependent pieces.
There we go. So we should be able to get it to crash in STL subsystem spin up now, where we have the thing pointing at the wrong platform. STL subsystem. Nope, good. Nope, not good. The type ID right there. They're passed by reference, right? So shouldn't this be filling? No, that didn't work.
Do you hear what I hear? Do you care if I care? Do you know what I know? Do we know what we share? Do you hear what I hear?
I don't think that really returned by reference. Engine base. It's not returning by reference, I guess. I don't know. So we're gonna make it pointers. What am I doing? Engine base. Steel platform subsystem. So an engine base, the inliners return the addresses of these things. Should really just make these like getter setter style things. That's okay. This is just an at, so we can use arrow. Live in the dream.
These are sets, right? No, they're maps. One is a set, subsystems is a set, which I'm doing insert. New destiny map in place. What are you saying? Oh, what's this? Oh. Yeah. Living the dream. Alright. And then city map. With the insert. Don't need no vim. Look at that weird way I inserted that text. Alright. Well, it's taking a really long time to compile. But I suppose that's the point, is that if we can move this stuff into these sub-projects, be cleaner when we make any changes to them. Watch that for a sec. Need some animation for compiling. Beep, 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 beep. argument. Do insert stick pairs? Also, I didn't call anything here. You have to insert a pair. Living the dream. I'm just tired today. Making stupid mistakes. Yeah. I don't know why. I mean, I could have just dereferenced to use the array operator. It's just. It's a 300 megabyte precompiled header file. Yeah, you could call it with the operator. Arrow operator would have been the way to do it. Probably use remove scintilla. Just gonna write my own. So we're making progress. Once we get this building again, I can. Everywhere else, where's the OpenGL, not this one, the SDL subsystem where I made this mistake. Where I'm not coercing it to the interface, I'm coercing it to the base class and it's failing, and I copy pasted that everywhere. So that's gonna be frustrating to fix, but maybe it'll have a good copy pasta place to get rid of it. This is gonna need to be all of these gets. What do y'all look like? As type. Probably gonna have to be. Thanks, man. These as features. We'll see what happens when we fix it. Place that everywhere, and then we'll be able to figure out. So as feature Mason, I can't remember anymore. Just sitting here. Aspects or features, I think. So we'll see what happens. Don't want changes in that in case it works. My build, which is about an hour long right now. So now we come here. Now there's one in there. Great. Really thought you could return collections by reference, but it's okay. Figure is working just fine. We should still crash right here. Yeah, because that's not the right type. So, is it... Oops. It's probably as featured. So, is this engine the... Yeah. So, we don't need to cast it anymore. That's a good point. That was the whole point of moving it there, so. Let's get back to what it was. Alright. What's the worst that could happen? I already have the arrows, just get it back to engine. Is it warning you not to do copy and pastes like that? Live in the dream. So I set off on this pretty ridiculous... So Skia is the 2D graphics library that's used on Chrome and Mozilla. They used to use a thing called Cairo. This is the one that's in WebKit, I think. But Skia does some really nice things, like draw anti-aliasing lines, and much like as a child, I can't draw straight lines good when I program. Let's see if... Let's just come up. I replaced all of these. Wonder why that one didn't catch, probably because that found parenthesis. No, because you can't get the log message out of there. Log message, the signal. Alright, so we need a method for it. I'll tell you about Ski in a minute. Alright. I want this in the private section. All protected is fine. Then I wonder if I can return a signal. These are log syncs, so they'll go to the same place. Signals work like C# events. So a lot of great Python and C# and Rust things that have now been backported, now available to use in C++, so get away with some nice stuff going on. Wonder if the operator works for pointers. So we're gonna put it on the subclass first. On the interface. Engine. guessing I'm going to need to return it. By rect by pointer. Yeah, alright. So now it's virtual method on the interface. We can inline the implementation of it right here. I think it's short enough to do this. I don't know. Running off the edge of the page here. If you had to print this out on a piece of paper, you wouldn't be able to see it anymore. Inline on message. And then compiling that should tell us who's talking about it wrong, because I moved it to the protected section, so you can't just grab it off of there anymore. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's a game engine. Oftentimes in game engines you have terrible UI. Skia is a 2D graphics library that's GPU accelerated that you most likely use in one of your browsers if you don't use Edge or Safari. And for a while it was the drawing context for Android apps. So when you think about the core drawing iOS drawing concepts. So UIKit is what that's called. UIKit is their native drawing system. A very, very old one is GDI, and then Direct2D. And Skia is a cross-platform one that is used on Android, it's used on iOS. And we use it for our UI along with this project, Yoga. Whoops, that's a Twitter for this. Yoga is Facebook's C implementation of just the Flexbox standard, which you may know from programming. So with Yoga, they use it in React Native right now. Oh, you can use Vulkan with it. That'll come up someday. So with Yoga to do our layout and Skia to do our drawing, we basically would have everything that you would do if you were going to be programming with some sort of like HTML5 style programming or UI layer for the game engine, but it'll be super fast because they have a Vulkan backend. So, wow, that only took 25% of the engine to code to explain that. Maybe you've heard of these low-level next-generation UI library, GPU libraries like Vulkan and Mantle and Metal. Mantle is what Vulkan is now. But you'll be able to dispatch to the card from multiple threads. So, in this system, you could have one or more threads drawing your 3D content, and then you could have another GPU accelerated thread drawing your UI content. And this works on everything but iOS, which I'm just kicking that can down the road. But you should be able to get very fast drawing. And I mean, you get fast drawing in the web browser in most places. I mean, if you look at all of these examples have fiddles that go with them, right? Because all that they're doing is exposing. They have JS fiddles, right? All that they're doing is exposing the HTML5 Canvas API through these things. But did I goof? Nope, still going good. So we'll see if that worked. Well, it should tell me, why did it work? There we go. Make shared pointer the address of underscore onlog message. Engine. we get the operator out of this? No. Can we? So when we construct it, we should subscribe to on-log message. There it is. Why did that not? This kind of defeats the nicety of using the plus equals, right? We do plus equals on a pointer. We're gonna be up Shit's Creek. So instead, the point about Skia was I wanted to use Skia, and I got it to a place that's looking pretty good, though I can't implement the kind of life cycle method stuff that I would want to do on that. Like if you use React Native or WinForms or any freaking UI library. Cannot be referenced, it's a deleted function. Why did this work? Auto LLM. Oh, because I'm not trying to. Nope. That's a pointer to a method. Okay. Oh, was I trying to dereference the method? My music stopped. What did you want? It's on long. Yeah, it's a function now. So.
User disconnected from your channel.
I can get a lot more music. Maybe they just got signed or something. Whatever. Okay, see you, Mason. You don't do this anymore. Should be able to get the subsystems off these things. Anyway, I wanted Skia. I wanted Skia to be in its own project so I could do lifecycle stuff, like not redrawing every time, because I don't have the hardware accelerated renderer set up yet. To do that, I needed to move our image class out. We have an image class in our multimedia data structures folder, which sits right there. So to move that out, I needed to move the multimedia data structures folder out. But all of these use this asset system to load their content. We have an asset subsystem that we want to operate kind of like in StarCraft, where it'll pull down crappier versions of the art first, so that you can play the game immediately without waiting for gigabytes of stuff to download through the internet. But to do that, I had to move the engine itself, the engine core class, out. And what we're doing now is cleaning up all of the copy and pasting I did to get that out of there. So, I've made an interface now. There's an engine singleton, which just got a static engine sitting in memory in this DLL. Hopefully, we'll do something to make people not touch it, because that would crash everything. And then, now everything that was grabbing something off of the engine with this as-type engine base should be just able to use the get now. So, here's me. GL load engine.get asset subsystem. So we'll see what happens. Probably be a while before this compiles again. But once we get engine out of there, we can move the subsystems out. Once we move the subsystems out, it's going to be a lot easier to port into other platforms. Right now we don't use anything that's platform specific to Windows. We were pretty intentional about that from the out. But the Windows C++ 11 compiler will let you do some naughty things, and unless you're really on your game and you're programming, specifically template programming for C++, you're going to make something that won't compile under playing. And so our old strategy was just to like take a weekend every 2 or 3 weeks to try to port it back to OS X is the other platform that we use to test. And ooh, that worked. Ignore edit. There it is. These are RTS features. We have a tile terrain here. I have a mini map where I'm sampling what tile cell you have there, and then I have rendering of buttons. Then a view box. So when you zoom out here, right? Normally when you play a game of Warcraft 3, you would be pretty close in to rendering, and so we tried to set the view layer here so that we can eventually get drawing working. But see, when you click on this, it moves you to a different area. It's a little bit wrong on the negative access, but we'll fix that later. Click these buttons and they'll produce events. Attack, control. That one doesn't have a correct name yet. I would call that a commit. That will make it so that no one else can program on this right now, but that's okay. We had to change a lot of things, so let's go into our submodule. So if I show you, this is set up as a Git repository with a lot of sub-projects. So all of the assets are different static data that we want to be able to load with that asset system. All the dependencies are sub-projects that I was talking about spinning out. The vendor folder is all of our third-party libraries. It itself has a lot of different things in here. Skia that we talked about, and SDL being the main ones that we use. A lot of the other stuff is just floating now. I mean, I use that nano SVG to load those things. We use Glue and GLM we use a lot. That's the C implementation of all of the stuff you would expect to be in GLSL when you're doing vector and matrix operations. Yoga that we just talked about. YAML.cpp, the parser. So the main goal that we're trying to go for with this engine, concurrent, we want to be able to use as many threads as possible. When you play Source right now, or Frostbite, all of these engines that were written a long time ago, they have 2 threads. They have one for the UI, they have one for the input. When these 16-core, 32-core machines, Ryzen CPUs are coming out, and with Vulkan the ability to render from different threads at the same time, you really want to have an engine which is concurrent. The second one is highly configurable, so everything that we define is done with YAML files, which I can't show you because I can show you this way. So we have this root engine file, load from all of these different asset folders. We call them hives because they could be on the disk, but they could be in memory, or they could be over the network if you're trying to fold things down. And then the configuration for the individual. So yeah, this is the configuration of the asset system. This is the configuration of the application layer. how do you get a window, how do you get events from the operating system. That's our OpenGL subsystem that doesn't do anything. This is our positional audio system that I haven't done much with. Speech system, it'll read things back to you right now with the onboard thing. Our debug console, which you saw me open when I loaded that. It's got its own console DSL that's like a crappy version of Bash right now. A remote console that you can call over HTTP right now. I haven't done much with that in a while. And then the game that I just loaded, when I said load RTS, you can see it's got a typical forward renderer. Not to get into too much, but we're doing forward rendering right now because that's the best way that you can program VR right now. These deferred rendering that you would expect all of that shiny, good-looking stuff in Grand Theft Auto and things like that won't stop on the frame boundary. And when you do VSync, and if you don't stop on the frame boundary with a VR headset, you'll throw up when you're wearing it. So we focused on forward renderer first. That nice skybox in the background. Here's some tile terrains from some stuff that we borrowed from another engine for the purpose of testing that it works, but we'll be building our own tile system. And then that UI layer that we talked about. So it's written in YAML, but it essentially is HTML. You have a div with a background color, some amount that it's flexing, some ID or class on it, and then some number of children. This is the transparent view on the top. This is the panel on the bottom. And then they have view models so that when you click on them or their data changes, you can cause the UI to re-render. We're going to make that commit now. I didn't do anything to that. This is the test. One moment.
T-minus 10, 9, 8.
Hey guys, we're Drulu. Hey guys, this is Slushy here. Hey, this is Steinbank, and we are Kuro.
Phase 1 complete. Assembling family members.
Hey yo, this is Logan from Australia. What's up guys, this is Will, coming to you from Georgia in the United States.
Family assembled. We have liftoff.
That's bad.
This is just nothing. Originally, when you had a bad path, the path system would log it to the engine. There's loggers kind of everywhere. We use the Speedy Log program, which will do, most importantly, Python-style string formatting. So you define OStream on an object, you can pass it to one of these right there. Big Windows 0 and 9 flags, excuse me. You can do nice string formatting. The dependency chain of these things is util is the base project, and then the type system that Mason has written is in a module, and then everything else is dependent on that. The console language that we talked about, the core module that we just implemented, this Lisp that doesn't do anything yet, the serialization library that lets us make objects that automatically reload when you change them on the disk. What do we change here? really shouldn't be that way. Everyone is asking the engine for a speedy log logger so that they can get the concurrent one, so that when if people are fighting each other when writing to the terminal, you're gonna have a bad day. Did I just push? This is the start of me pulling out the asset system. I really need to use something else for my to-do list. Gotta copy pasta air. There. Show what base is. Oh, that's the base asset folder that I didn't get around to implementing. There's everywhere that I've fixed. There's the stuff I moved into engine that I wasn't able to get all the way out yet. Alright. Core engine. Then I'm gonna push. When you have a submodule in Git, you can get around this, but they track the outer repository tracks the inner repositories of particular commits. The inner repositories don't necessarily track master. Someone has to come around and switch them to track master when they check out, which creates kind of unfun times for programming, but yeah. I just need to figure out which ones we're going to commit. I did change serialize. I don't think I changed types. I guess it seems will tell me. Don't want to commit types, I don't think. I do want to commit util, which I made changes to. Oh my god, this cube map thing. We named the cube map something stupid at some point a long time ago. And
I'm so alone. Nothing feels like home. I'm so
I'm gonna commit asset base in this.
trying to find my way back home to you. I'm so alone. Nothing feels like home.
Oh, but I need to because I goofed my Git. Damn it. Alright. Sorry. This is all gonna be one meg commit. The Git modules file. Subtract things, and that'll create a problem because someone will say, I don't actually have that submodule being added. It's okay. Core submodule, adding asset core submodule. When you come to these asset files, I don't have anything in there right now. I wanted to be, so the only thing I checked out in there was font icons. Oh, so I added this material UI. So I imported all of the icons from material UI and Google's style guidelines. What I wanted to do was come up with a clear way that we're going to commission UI components, icons, fonts, storyboards, and then profiles, top, front, back, side of models, or of 2D art that we're going to turn into models, those models, so on and so forth, so that we can get that asset pipeline chugging along. But I got pretty distracted by this. Assets base is dirty. Ignore. Yes. Thankfully I did this when Mason was back visiting his parents, or else such a ridiculous refactor would have screwed us over. You know. Begging more caused me to not. It's just this weird style thing. It's okay. The STL subsystem. Okay.
I'm so alone, nothing feels like home. I'm so alone, trying to find my way back home to you. I'm so alone, nothing feels like home. I'm so alone, trying to find my way back home to you.
I am again floating through the silence in my cold skin. My body is wearing thin. My fears tell me I'll never win. My body is wearing thin. And there's darkness here.
Let's take a look at it. I need to know which one I'm going to do next. Want to do, for sure, asset, the multimedia data structures, then UI. Because I gotta get Skia out of there. Skia is 200 megabytes with the debug symbols in there. And it's got like a really specific way it wants its headers in order. So. I'm gonna have to come back to that. Craftengine. Okay, but what is there after that? Engine execute. UI subsystem, a speech subsystem. Should just get DocPad or something so it'll log these to something interesting. Speech is a good one. Let's see if that still works even. Be a good demo though. There's that one line change I made the SDL subsystem. I don't really want to pull open VR out right now because I don't have the headset hooked up. What the hell? Okay. Chroma Ricky still works. Features. There's the console. Am I not loading the speech subsystem?
Hello world.
Okay, that's still working. That's good. So we pull speech out. Something's busted about that. Speech currently is just speaking back. What I want to do is I have this thing. What's it called? It's in my submodules list. Sphinx. Sphinx is Carnegie Mellon's speech recognition system. I tried to use the speech API speech recognition system, and it is very heavyweight. pretty dated in the way that it works, but what I want you to be able to do is have the headset on and execute one of those console commands by speaking, because it's kind of a pain to type inside the Vive. We'll come back to that. Speech we can do now. Maybe. Audio we can do now. Audio is just using a simple 3D wrapping library called So Loud. But I want to use Steam Audio, which is Valve's. This is how you hear things good. That's the whole reason that Counter-Strike works, right? When you're on Dust 2. I don't know why this is at nighttime. Never seen that mode. But you have audio in 2 ears, right? And you want to make it appear as if it's coming from a particular direction. That's what this does. So you want to put that in there. So moving out audio into a subsystem would be good. I should probably put off graphics, because Mason would be upset if I touched that. Also, I think that there's a dependency between the graphics subsystem and STL right now, because STL is the one that reports what content comes out of there. So physics could come out. I haven't touched that since before we had a type system even. We're just using Bullet right now. I don't think we're actually... I mean, we don't use it in the RTS game mode that I showed you, because either things run into each other, they don't on a 2D plane, right? It's kind of a step beyond to get things to... When you play StarCraft and the units collide in a really StarCrafty way until they explode, and then like the parts of the marine will fly up a cliff and things like that. Come back to that. I'm not going to touch the PCG stuff. It's generating 3D content, because Mason is an outstanding factor on that. The input subsystem, I wonder how much this is relying on STL. It would be cool to pull that out. We really wanted an input subsystem back when we started working on game engine stuff like 5 years ago. We really wanted an input subsystem that lets you do like basically state machines. So if you think about when you're inputting stuff to play Street Fighter, you do the Hadoken. You can imagine the gesture I'm making there. Down, right, hit attack, so Hadokens, or the Z, that you want something better than, or more complex with state machines than you would use if you were just typing. So it would be cool to pull that out. That should be it for now. Audio. The asset subsystem I should definitely do first, so then get these two out. The life cycle stuff, I was saying that on the UI, is not very good right now. I don't even think it really redraws, and when it does, it's really expensive to draw in 2D, not on the hardware, software. So, we'll have to come back to that. But, what time is it? Alright. Hold on one sec, I gotta look for something. Black screen, display capture. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the bank, and then I'm gonna come back. Probably 5:30, and then I'll start programming again. So, thanks for hanging out, Mason, and one other person. Cool.